Western New York Independent Living's 40th annual meeting is dedicated to Joanne Wozniak, our longtime friend and colleague whose dedication to the mission of the agency will always be remembered by us all, as well as the people she helped over the years.
220 of us gathered 365 days ago to celebrate our 39th annual meeting.
Starting off the night was a video tribute to the late, great Dennis M. Kessel, celebrating the history, accomplishments, and growth of the agency under his tenure as board president.
Board Chair Paul Beekman presented Dennis' family with a resolution recognizing many of Dennis's accomplishments.
Our CEO, Doug Uziak, gave away several door prizes during the night, including upside-down posters of sports celebrities. Why would they give us upside-down posters?
After dinner, awards were presented to our Volunteer of the Year,
Employee of the Year,
Corporate Supporter of the Year,
and Community Supporter of the Year.
To conclude the evening, our guest speaker, Aaron Bayer, and his wife, Maria, graced us with a musical performance. Does this year's guest speaker know this is a requirement?
Aaron inspired us with his personal stories of being a peer, an advocate, and a leader in the independent living community.
Independent Living of Niagara County celebrated their 5th annual Olmsted Day picnic in June at Hyde Park in Niagara Falls. Chief Policy Officer Todd Vowerk welcomed Niagara Falls Disability Coordinator Christopher Mazer to the event.
Young and old alike enjoyed the day,
which celebrates the Olmsted Act, ensuring that persons with disabilities receive services in the most integrated setting appropriate to their needs.
Not to be confused with Chef Boyardee, top chef Chris Lane ensured the meats were grilled to perfection,
while staff, council members, and consumers contributed to the feast and made sure no one went away hungry.
On June 26th, Todd and a contingency of vested stakeholders traveled to Albany at a moment's notice to join hundreds of others across the state to make sure the New York State Department of Health heard our voices against the proposed budget cuts to the consumer-directed personal assisted program.
On July 26th, Independent Living of the Genesee region celebrated the anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Dozens of friends of ILGR took part in this annual event at Kiwanis Park in Batavia.
ILGR staff and council members ensured there was enough food to keep everyone satisfied.
Our friends from the University Heights Art Association attended as they usually do to provide family-friendly activities for the attendees.
The next day, WNYIL hosted the Disability Pride Parade and Festival.
The family of agencies and 20 other groups participated in the parade.
That began at City Hall and finished at Canalside.
The Brass Pro Revivalists cranked the music throughout the parade and at Canalside.
After the parade, Canalside hosted the Disability Pride Festival to celebrate the anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Vendors set up tents and tables to talk up their services to the approximately 750 attendees.
Food, live performances, and family-friendly activities were provided free of charge.
The Superhero Alliance mingled with attendees and took pictures and signed autographs.
Planning is well underway for this year's event in July, which will mark the 30th anniversary of the ADA.
3 out of the 4 anglers in this boat won prizes for the biggest fish caught at Independent Living of Niagara County's 14th annual fishing derby.
Anglers fished on the Niagara River for the biggest bass and walleyes.
At least one of the Uziaks took home a trophy.
A lunch and basket raffle followed at the 3F Club in Youngstown with 80 baskets raffled off to attendees.
Here, our Chief Community Engagement Officer is enjoying his 4th pulled pork sandwich and 3rd piece of barbecued chicken.
The staff of Mental Health Peer Connection spent August 6th at the Mental Health Awareness Fair.
Channel 4 covered the event and made TV stars out of the staff.
Mental Health Peer Connection also participated in the Puerto Rican and Hispanic Day Parade held on August 17th.
Some staff really got into the day's festivities.
United Way Day of Caring volunteers from the Communication Workers of America, Local 1168, and the Defense Contract Management Agency spruced up the offices of Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service,
while employees from Astronics Luminescent Systems did the same at WNYIL.
Agency consumers met with 9 local employers at a job fair sponsored by MHPC and held at 3108 Main Street.
Dozens of consumers attended and were able to talk with companies in attendance.
Staff and their families enjoyed a fun day at the Erie County Fair in August.
In addition to the camaraderie of our colleagues,
The pig races were a highlight of the day's activities.
Addict-to-Addict staff from Niagara and Erie counties planned, implemented, and participated in the 3rd Annual International Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st.
250 attendees were there to encourage expanded treatment for addicts, reduce the stigma of addiction, and to get more people talking about addiction.
Kites and spirits were flying high at MHPC's Kite Festival at Gratwick Park.
The Niagara River provided a beautiful backdrop to attendees who were provided kites, food, and other activities.
In September, Independent Living of the Genesee region held their Taste of Independence at Ascension Parish Hall in Batavia.
The event was highlighted by food offerings from 16 restaurants, a large basket raffle,
and a live auction featuring auctioneer Todd Jancy of Bontrager Auction Services.
In October, the 3 centers held their respective Meet the Candidates Days. WNYIL's event featured the 2 candidates running for Erie County Executive, Mark Polencars,
and Lynn Dixon. 16 candidates in all attended the event.
ILNC's Meet the Candidates Day featured City of Niagara Falls mayoral candidates Robert Restaino
and Jeff Elder, along with several Niagara County legislator candidates.
ILGR's Meet the Candidates Day featured Duran Rogers
and Benjamin Bonarigo, who were running for City of Batavia judge,
as well as Batavia City Council candidate Deborah Kerr-Rosenbeck.
In October, ILGR sponsored a seminar on universal design and aging in place, that is, creating an environment that is functional and attractive to those with and without disabilities.
Nationally recognized expert on the topic, Esther Greenhouse from Cornell University's College of Human Ecology spoke on creating thriving communities from vision to reality.
The newest event on WNYIL's busy calendar of events took place in November when ILNC held its very first All You Need Is Love fundraiser.
Beatles cover band Past Masters performed for the crowd.
ILNC director Sarah Alonso joined the band and showed off her mean tambourine skills.
In December, Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service started the holidays off right with an open house.
Volunteers were treated to food and drinks as a thank you to their service, which makes radio reading programming possible.
WNYIL staff worked the agency's outreach table in January for Legislative Day.
Not only staff made the trip, but also council and board members and consumers.
Senator Tim Kennedy was one of the elected officials we met with to let know we expect him to fight for appropriate funding levels for programs and services for the disability community.
Then the COVID-19 pandemic hit. It may have impacted how we conducted business, but it didn't stop us from serving our consumers.
We conducted support groups virtually instead of in person.
We delivered food, medications, and medical equipment to consumers with underlying health conditions when it wasn't safe for them to leave their homes.
We provided masks to consumers and their personal assistants so they were safe when the staff came to help with their daily living needs.
We purchased dozens of laptops and phones so staff could serve their consumers from their homes.
And although there have been dark times for many of us personally and professionally, we showed the fortitude, strength, and compassion for each other to make sure we all get through this together. Because the Western New York Independent Living family of agencies has shown that people with disabilities are resilient, are able to contribute to their communities, and have demonstrated that we, the people with disabilities, are equal partners in making a better tomorrow.